Hi all, I just want to do a quick video on books for the music business. Back in the 90s, I gave it a shot at the music business, and these are some of the books that I bought. And most of the stuff would still be current. The only thing that would be different would be the MP3 stuff. I read an article a little while ago that said record companies expect an MP3 now for your demo, but I don't know if that would be good from like a legal standpoint. You might want to turn in a hard copy. But that's where the newer books would come in. They would tell you all about that stuff. So probably the main book would be this one. We talked about this one a little bit in those how to start a band videos I did. So this one is All You Need to Know About the Music Business by Passman, and he has an updated one. I think it's pretty current too. So just to glance through the contents here, see all you need to know about the music business. This one goes back to 91. This one's pretty old stuff. See here it says, no creative work is ever the product of one person alone, which means you got to build a team. Lawyers, accountants, managers, agents. So you can see here, the very first thing is your advisors. Who are you taking advice from? Only take advice from people doing better than you. Okay, how to pick a team, manager, business manager, attorneys, agents, record deals, songwriting and music publishing, group issues, touring, merchandising, motion pictures, music. So just to run through the stuff quickly here, I remember I had made a few calls and I talked to one company. I think it was on the East Coast, and somehow I got through to someone, and first thing he said to me, well, who are you? I guess he thought I was some big name, and I explained to him I was just trying to make it, and I was looking for a manager, and I explained to him what I had going, and he said, you ain't got nothing to manage yet. He said, call back when you get something to manage. So at first you're going to be doing it all on your own. Okay. There are entertainment lawyers that'll help you. Agents. Record deals. You might be thinking, well, why do I need to know all this stuff yet? I haven't made it. Well, if you do happen to get lucky and you make it, you're going to get real busy, and it'll be real hard trying to learn this stuff while you're working the record deal. So, not that you need to be a genius at this stuff, but you should still have a basic understanding of the songwriting business. Songwriting. Story I got there, I don't know if I brought it up in those how to start a band videos, was I was taking guitar lessons, and it was in a big city, and me and my guitar teacher had went to lunch, and we were sitting at a restaurant, and some guy come up to the table, started talking to him, and me not wanting to be nosy, I wasn't really paying attention. And they talked for probably 15 minutes or so. And after the guy left, he said, "You don't know who that was, do you?" I said, "No, I don't know." And it was a bass player from a famous band. And the guy had toured with a national band for years. And the main guitar player and singer kept all the copyrights, kept all the royalties. And the rest of the band got paid like $300 a week. And even though the band had a bunch of big hits, the bass player and I guess the other fellows weren't getting nothing, because the main singer and guitar player wrote the songs, kept all the royalties. So usually my understanding is whoever is in the room when the song is created, they have royalties to it. So even though you're not helping, you're sitting over on the couch, my understanding is who's ever in the room has royalties, has rights to it. So that's something you should talk to your lawyer about. Group issues. I remember seeing a video by Metallica, and they said the way they think of it is their t-shirt sales from their concerts is their profit. So they sell a lot of t-shirts. Touring, there's a famous woman that sings, really famous, and her concert tour was like jig-jag around the country. Didn't have no rhyme or reason, going from the West Coast to the East Coast, back to the West Coast, up to the North, instead of going state by state. And I heard she went broke on that tour because they spent so much traveling that they didn't make no money. So, you have to plan out your tour. Go from one city to the next city to the next city. Try to keep your travel time down. Motion picture, if you get a song in a movie, you can make a lot of money. Film songwriter deals. Okay, so be sure and check out that one. And then another big one is making it in the music business. Who's that? Royden. Okay. Writer's Digest has a lot of good books on art and things like that. This goes back to '88. Okay, so just to run through some of the contents here. Selling yourself. At first, you're doing everything. You have to be a salesman. If you don't sell yourself, no one else will. Take control of your career. Don't just let it happen. You got to get out there and do it. What makes a successful recording artist? Your artist demo, choosing the material, choosing the right songs for your act, putting together a budget, finding investors. That's probably something you never thought of. Publish or perish, the recording team. The producer pays for it, but the engineer is the guy or the person in the recording studio running the dials. Rehearsing and pre-production. It may take 6 months of rehearsing before you go out on the road. Recording, mastering, and pressing. See, after you record the album, and then they have to master it. I've heard records are made in the mastering. Distribution. These days it's all iTunes and things on the web, right? record promotion, you got to promote yourself. These days we have the web, social media stuff. Making a music video. See, these days you can do it all on your own, right on YouTube. So, sales team, making a deal. See, if you can get a few good videos on YouTube, you can make a good living just with a small following on YouTube. You know, you don't have to go the record company route if you don't want to. In one of these books, I forget which one it was, but it said even the best, the top of the line artist only gets like 3%. So, you know, your band is making millions, but you only get like 3%. And I remember the book said even people like Springsteen might be able to get 8. So that's why I said if you get a couple good videos and you're making a decent buck, you know, you're getting millions of views, hey, you're making a good living just off your videos. So this is another good one here, Successful Artist Management. I think this is more for like how to be a manager, but you know, at first you're managing yourself. So this is 1990. Let's see here. Establishing the artist-manager relationship. You know, some people say the Beatles, the 5th member was the manager. I forget his name now, but he was the guy that I guess he basically he managed the band, helped with all the recording, you know, planning the artist's career, making the plan work, making your own break, career maintenance and control, coping with fame, money management. We've all heard stories about people who made a lot of money and were broke few years later. Superstardom, what's next? Okay. Talks about a bunch of the record company businesses here. American Federation of Musicians, American Federation of Musicians performance contract. So I'll show some of the contracts in the back, sample contracts. ASCAP, BMI, Songwriters Guild of America, and so on. Okay. And then this one here, the craft and business of songwriting. This one is Business and Art by Braheny. This is one of my favorites here. Craft and business of songwriting. The craft and business. You have to play both ends. This goes back to 88. So just to run through the contents, creativity and inspiration. How do you get inspired? You know, where do you get your subjects for your songs? Subject matter, the media and listeners, writing lyrics. You know what they say about songs, you know, don't tell them everything. You know, part of the song, meaning of the song is made up in the listener's mind. And then, you know, you can go too far with that too, you know, where they say the song is all in the writer's head. He doesn't give the listener enough information. So, writing lyrics, construction of the song, writing music, collaboration, protecting your songs, where money comes from, publishing, self. These days, there's a lot of self-publishing going on, right, with all the internet stuff. Demos, that part might be a little outdated, but the general idea will still be the same. Marketing yourself and your songs. You can't just fax your ads to companies, you know. It's against the law. Additional markets, getting a record deal. Okay. These books are good, you know, Billboard Top 40, all the hits down through history. You know, if you're looking for songs to play local, like you can go through and pick out some hits. You know, like if a song wasn't a hit, it may not be a good song to play, you know, local. So here it says like My Girl was #1 for 11 weeks. So we all know that lots of bands do that. You hear it all over television. You know. Beauty is Only Skin Deep. I don't remember hearing that one, but I guess if you're a Temptations fan, then you probably know that song. Okay. Okay, so that's what this book is good for, and I think they come out with a new one every year or so. So this was the 4th edition. Okay, then these books too, I think we talked about these, the songwriting market. There's new ones out. This goes back to '88. I have some of the new ones too, but it just shows you where this was the addresses, the music publishers, print record companies, and so on, managers, fine arts. So like, let's see here, agents, so 293. So what's nice about these is they have short articles about certain things. So here's an article about Anne Murray. She was real popular. But here's all the agents. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's their company name, address, and how to contact them. So see, like here, International Music Management, Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. There's their telephone, the executive assistant, Francis, management firm, represent individual artists, groups, and songwriters, currently handles 2 acts, receives 15% commission, reviews material for acts, how to contact, prefers cassette with 2-3 songs, does not return unsolicited material, reports in 1 month. And then it says music, pop, and rock. Works primarily with vocal and musical recording artists. Current acts include Jose Feliciano and Porter Hasen. Okay, so Here says does not return unsolicited material. I've heard that, like, if you send out a bunch of demos, let's say you send out like 100 demos, you have your package with your letters and your business card and your CDs and stuff like that. I've heard that if you get a turn down letter, okay, let's say you send out 100, you get 10 turn down letters, the other 90 don't say nothing. I've heard that those turn down letters mean that they really liked your stuff, but they just can't do nothing with it. Let's say they handle pop and rock and you send them a country song, so they just don't handle that type of thing. Or they mainly work with two or three bands and they can't afford to handle more, so okay. But this is a good way to avoid the scammers too. I'm presuming these people research these and the scammers wouldn't make it into these books. Okay, so that's really nice there. And of course there's many other books, but those would be the main ones. You should be aware of those. Okay, so we're mainly talking the music business. Of course there's all type of music books and theory books and songwriting books and all kind of other things, but here we're mainly talking the music business. Okay, so Passman, these four here. This one, let's see, this one's good too for writing, but I've got a few other ones that I'd like to bring up too, and we'll do another video on the books from a writing point. Okay, so I just kind of threw this together at the last minute here. I just happened to walk by my shelf here and I said, hey, that would make a good video. Okay, so I hope that helps. See ya. Bye.